So, having had the problem with the TAD system on the Italeri kit, I wanted to have a look at what Academy's solution to the problem was. So I've got the Academy kit, and then I also wanted to have a look and see what Hasegawa have, how they've solved the problem. So what I'm going to do is have a quick look first of all at the Academy kit, and then we'll have a look through the Hasegawa kit. So get the lid off the kit, because obviously it's get rid of all the glare. And straight away we'll go into the instructions on the Academy kit and see how they've come across, how they've solved the problem. And the first thing that you notice with the kit is the actual fuselage. Get that down here. The fuselage is different. What they've done is at the front of the fuselage, they've given you, it's come to a flat, and then the parts are there to create the nose separately on the kit. And going into the instructions in section 3, which is quite cool, this part of the kit, which they don't sort of give it a section, but it's this part here. And what they've done is by creating a back wall, they've then got a situation where you can mount these parts, the parts that make up the TAD system, into a ring piece there, which can then fit into the top section there, and then it sort of does away with having to try and force things together. So what I'll do is I'll get the parts off the sprues, and we'll have a look. We'll see how that will go. So the Academy assembly is I think a little bit better. It's relatively easy to do, this one. This is the central part, and that needs dressing up. There's some bits on there that need to be cleaned up, but essentially that's the part. So you have the rear half of the TAD system there, and the front half of the TAD system there. The difference being with this is that there isn't a separate piece in there glazed. There's a glazed portion to go on there, which is fine. I mean, you can paint that, no problem. So I think that the way to do this one is the other thing with this collar, on the Italeri one, this bracketry is a separate part that you need to stick on, but I think this assembly is easier in that you can put that half of it in there. You can't do it with the two halves put together. You can't, it won't fit. So if you put the two halves together, the central collar there is too big, that won't fit. But what you can do is you can put that being the front, you can put this through, and then this, and then have it sort of horizontal in there, and then this part, make sure you get the right way round. You can actually sort of put that in place, and it will line up with the pins about right, and you can get that together. That one's a little bit out, but I think what I would tend to do with this particular assembly there is take that pin off and just use one pin to line it up. But once you've got that in place, then the whole thing is actually in position and it's pivoted around that central part. See if I can get that just to line up while we're at it. But again, it's fiddly. It is, but I think the way that Academy have done it, actually while I'm at it, and I'm going to be building this anyway I suppose, if I take that pin out, which we can do, take that out of the way. Probably end up with a part in there rattling about, but we can take that out of the way. And there we go. Right, and then with some extra thin we can close those seams up and deal with the seams. But this is a lot better, this construction, with that as a back plate. And there is this part here, which is the top part of that construction, and that fitting onto there. It is a far better, oh sorry, going out of shot, with that part on there and that part there. It's a far easier construction. Let's snip that off. It's a far easier construction than the Italeri one. Excellent, well done to Academy for their design work and their engineering, well done. Right, let's put these parts together, or back in the box, and then we'll have a look at the Hasegawa method. Right, so the Hasegawa kit, let's get the lid off of that, and this has already been debagged. Isn't that when you're at school when they pull your trousers down? This appears to have a similar construction here in the nose to the Italeri, but it is slightly different, and on closer inspection there's this bracket, oh sorry, gone out of shot, sorry, a closer inspection, this bracket is in place already on the fuselage, and these parts at the bottom of the fuselage are not reliant or used as a pivot, which means that, looking at that bottom bracket is going to be a lot slimmer than the Italeri one, which means it's more accurate. So looking at the instructions, let's move the box out of the way for a moment. So looking at the instructions from the Hasegawa kit, need to find it. Where are we? There we are, right in the middle. Right, the TADS assembly. Interesting, Hasegawa tell you what the bits are, which is quite good. So if I just zoom that in a bit. Right, so the TADS system is made up of what appear to be two halves and a central collar. So have a look at that, and let's cut the parts out and we'll have a look. So the Hasegawa kit found the parts. First and foremost is the central collar part, which they've put as one complete collar, I haven't dressed this at all or done anything with the seams, so it's just a push fit to see what happens. So that's just one collar, and the clever bit that they've done is they've actually, with this part here, part 22, it's got a spigot on it, and part 21, take that off there. Obviously these parts will be dressed before we assemble it, actually fit into there, onto there like that. So you have the two halves like that, and in actual fact that seam is fairly brilliant, but that will then fit through this this central hole there. And you'd be looking at that and thinking, wow, that's a bit of a loose fit, but in actual fact they've been very shrewd with this. This part, with the front part of the TAD with the optical devices there, and the rear section, whoops, nearly lost it. Right, so those two, oh, get them the right way round. Those two fit together really nicely, like that. Get it together. Like I say, I haven't dressed any of the seams or anything or any of the knots, and they go together. Now, one of the things that I spotted on here is that that part has a little spigot on the side of there, which locates in there, so that the two parts, when they're together, turn it over, they line up appropriately for the front of the TAD system. Now that's still a loose fit, however that goes in there like that, and that part goes in there like that, go in, come on, line up. It's a bit of a tweaky fit, but it does fit. That lines up, but it's all a bit loose, as you might imagine. But one of the things that Hasegawa has done in their parts call out is given us these parts here, and I'm going to try and get these out. Right. So what they've produced is these rubber collars. So one of those rubber collars fits into there, in that half. It will fit. You can see that'll fit in there. That will fit in there. Those two parts go together and fit in there, and that spigot goes on there, goes through the rubber grommet, and then those two parts fit together there, and that makes a really clever piece of engineering to get that together far easier than the Italeri one. I think you'll agree. So obviously the other companies have found solutions rather than Italeri, who couldn't work out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, like and subscribe, all that stuff, and hopefully it's helpful for you. Cheers. Bye bye.